and welcome. I'm Jake Kyle. Joined with me is Irving, Moonbear, goes by many names, and then Kent, the filthy casual. We are joined here today to talk about games, news.
We are gathered here today.
Marriage.
To celebrate holy matrimony.
Love. True love.
God, what movie is that?
That's the Princess Bride. You're the
Bride.
filthy casual there. I don't want to.
Okay, hey,
wow.
I
right.
felt like it was Princess Bride. All right,
Everybody
You
needs
killed
to
my
see that
father.
movie at
It's a
least
fantastic
70
movie.
times.
Yep.
Great
That's
movie.
how you
I have
should
watched it.
live your life. All right, so lots to talk about. PAX happened, which
Did it?
yeah,
Exactly.
right. That was kind of my reaction. Like, I browse a lot of gaming news sites. I look at a lot of stuff all the time, and only a couple days into PAX did I really remember, like, oh yeah, this is the thing that happened. There not a whole lot of like big news. In
Nothing
PAX.
big. Everything big happened at E3.
Yeah.
And
Which,
also, in my opinion, Gamescom. But nothing really happened at Gamescom except for WoW.
well, Gamescom, there was quite a few League of Legends updates as well. Heroes of the Storm made some updates at Gamescom as well. I think they did talk a little bit about Overwatch at PAX, though. But that was more just kind of like, hey, here's where we're at, this is where we're going. Nothing really super new.
Yeah.
From what I heard,
when the beta's coming for that, though.
They did announce that, yes. That is exciting.
for the beta for Overwatch.
Yep.
Yeah, it's this fall, right?
Did they just say fall, or did they give us an actual date? I haven't paid much attention to the news.
No, they did not give us an actual date.
Of course they didn't. It's Blizzard.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? Okay. Side note, everyone gives them shit for this and like, oh, hey, it could be released this date, but we're, just in case it might not. Okay, everything is like that in life. All right? If I say something, there's a chance that someone could get hit by a car and I don't make it in that day and I can't do whatever the fuck you expect me to do. All right, people, be reasonable. Jeez.
And
It's
especially in the
ridiculous.
gaming industry.
It is ridiculous.
They also went through and the World of Warcraft team at least put a stamp on that, where they're just like, look, this is game development, this is how it works. We can't tell you exactly when we're going to launch things because there could be a game-breaking bug that we don't want in the game.
Yes.
So we're not going to release it in that state.
Which I was
So
on
someone
PTR,
has pointed out that they did announce Metal Gear Solid 5, which we
Yes.
have kind of known about. We always knew that was coming. Us not being giant console gamers, we respect you guys. Consoles brought gaming through its early ages. Have you guys played Metal Gear Solid? Because I've never played Metal Gear Solid, and I feel like we're about to lose some
It's a
viewers.
stealth game, and you hide in boxes.
No. That's
Sounds like my jam.
That's not Metal Gear, dude. That's
Yeah, it is.
no. You're thinking of Splinter Cell or like.
No. The original.
Oh
like,
yeah,
there's
sorry. I'm thinking
pictures
Gears
the
of War.
Solid Snake
Gears of
guy
War was
in,
also
like, a
mentioned.
box.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that actually does look kind of
Shows
interesting.
how much gaming we do on that.
I know, right? Like that's how we're like hardcore PC. No, Gears of War is a lot of fun. That multiplayer got a lot of attention.
I actually remember playing it when its beta was released live on Xbox Live. In my friend's basement, and we were just like, what the hell is this game? Like, because it was so different from every other shooter that was out at the time.
It was. So let me ask you that. So remembering playing that original Gears of War, how did that different, unique, innovative gameplay, how did that influence the gaming industry? How did that influence shooters to come?
Honestly, it really didn't. Like, just the Gears of War style shooters, like, there were a few more that came out, most of them under the label Gears of War, and they were the ones that were primarily like that cover-based shooting.
Yeah.
I think the Uncharted series might have used that for some
And
of
Mass
its
Effect took that model, but that was a very different
I didn't play
style of
that much
gameplay.
Mass Effect, like, to be honest.
Well, yeah, it had that cover-based shooting. They kind of added like abilities and like skills and stuff like that, so it was very interesting. But yeah, the biggest name in shooter games, Call of Duty, and then Battlefield, arguably probably number 2. But
I'd argue Halo actually is what started the massively popular shooter genre.
that definitely started
There's
it.
a wife attack.
Oh, you guys are so cute. Everyone say hi to Amber. Amber, wait for the camera.
Yes, they could.
Yeah, I know. She's so embarrassing. Anyway,
Anyway,
Moving
We
on.
didn't even get a chance to ask her thoughts on how the industry is affected by Gears of War.
She beats me.
Yeah. Now, Metal Gear Solid, and especially Metal Gear Solid 2, is arguably one of the greatest games in the industry. A lot of console players would agree. A lot of Sony JRPG fans would agree as well.
I know it's like really famous, and I know like the stories. Like, there's some crazy stuff in that game. Like, one of the bosses, you actually had to change the port your controller was in to be able to beat.
That was really cool. That's
the kind
some
of crazy like that's shit that wouldn't fly today.
I don't know. I think it would be really
Arguably.
cool. I mean,
No, people would get pissed. And then the amount of wireless controllers is kind of like...
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's not really a viable mechanic nowadays, but that was a cool... You gotta, like, get up and, like, oh, geez, like, where did I stick this? Ah!
Yeah,
You know,
it's crazy.
I got the where do I stick it paranoia at a young age. That was trouble. But,
Oh wow, that's very distressing right there.
absolutely. So, they, nothing really new from Halo. Call of Duty's doing some interesting stuff. They're kind of implementing a little bit more class-based gameplay in their upcoming game. Very similar to Overwatch. And very similar to MOBA style almost. I think they
For
are
Call of
finally...
Duty? Really?
Yeah, Call of Duty is. They are branching out. They are making the changes that the people wanted. Oh, Nick's in there. Yeah, Horde mode was very... That's right. Now, Nick,
Yeah,
if you're still listening, Horde mode, did that come... Was Gears of War before the
Gears of
Call
War
of
2.
Duty? Because
No,
I
that
know
was
Call
Gears
of
of
Duty
War
has a
2.
lot of like
Yeah,
Horde
but-
mode style gameplays, but yeah, I think Gears.
The
could
original
be
Horde
too.
mode was definitely Gears 2, and it was incredible. Me and my friend played Horde mode in Gears of War 2 all
Yeah,
the freaking time.
absolutely.
And it was great. So many great memories of that, like getting to, I think, wave like 30 or something.
Yeah, they did a
It's
great
insane.
job there. But so I was really looking forward to seeing the changes that I did with Call of Duty, because at first it was all like. It's basically Counter-Strike, you know, like where it's all Twitch-based. It's how well you know the map. It's how well you can respond and do that.
And
Twitch-style
if you
gameplay.
have the glitched controller that makes the single shot guns shoot automatic, you know, that's very important.
Exactly. Now, Titanfall kind of started a bit of a rift in the first-person shooter community because they took that tier of vertical gameplay, jumping all over the place. The Titans was really cool as well. A lot of really cool stuff happening to the first-person
Actually,
shooter.
Tried out Titanfall on my friend's computer once. I thought it was really interesting. I think I just did like the tutorial, but the tutorial was cool. It was a cool-looking world. I don't really
Definitely a
remember
lot of
much
fun.
that night, but it
It's
was
a
good.
blast.
Good try.
I'm
Speaking of class-based shooters, Battlefront, excuse me,
Star Wars Battlefront,
the
yep.
remake of, that series is honestly like I've seen some gameplay. I think it looks great. I know some people are kind of annoyed that it's not one of those massive team-based shooters like MAG that had its 250 people in a match. But
honestly, I'll tell
those
you
are
why.
terrible.
Okay, so first off, I played the heck out of Battlefront 2. I had that on Xbox, and me and my brother played that like Galactic Risk they had on there. That was a great time.
Speaking of that, they don't have that in the new
Yes, I know.
Which actually kind of makes me sad because I really liked that story campaign. I thought it was cool.
The campaign was fantastic. Following like the clone troopers turning into stormtroopers, like that was a really fun campaign to play. I'll tell you why I'm scared though, because I don't trust the guys that make Battlefront or that made Battlefield. I do not trust them.
You don't like DICE?
No, I don't like DICE. I don't like their browser-based game. Or you got to open up a browser in order to play Battlefield. Like, I don't. Right. Even on console, it had issues. I'm hesitant there. All right, I'm real hesitant.
No, I understand that. I like what I've seen from Battlefront. I think it looks really good.
Yeah,
and I'm excited.
I'm optimistic, but I don't think I'm going to get it on day one. I'm not going to pre-order for sure. And
I'm probably not going to just because I don't have a PS4.
Yeah.
Is it coming out for PC? I don't like playing shooters on PC, even if it is. But
it will be out for PC.
Yeah, I just don't have a PS4 yet. And
so someone just commented they need a mix on Halo, Call of Duty, Gears, and Destiny. I would argue, isn't that Destiny?
Yeah, Destiny's kind of the mix of all those. I mean, I don't think Destiny has the dynamic combat system that Gears has. Mm-hmm. But Destiny was aiming to be more of an MMO than Gears was, even in its multiplayer
Well,
shooter.
that was their problem. That was why Destiny had a bit of a struggle at the beginning, because they were like, let's be an MMO, let's be a console MMO. It's a shooter, mainly a shooter. But
Yeah,
console
I mean,
players are
They
not
had a
MMO
cool
players.
gear possession system, I think. To be honest, like just from what I've seen of it, I haven't played the game. I've watched it. I've seen the beta alpha footage that everyone's seen. I've talked to people that have played it. So it is a bit more of an MMO, and it's enough of an MMO that Gears style combat wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
Combat, like cover mechanics in any MMO, are always kind of dodgy, and the only one that's done it semi okay was Star Wars: The Old Republic, and even then there were issues where you could roll out of boundaries and enter a fatigue zone and die.
Yeah, which is...
I did that several times.
Yeah, it is a problem. They did make a lot of great changes to Destiny, and this is why I like Bungie and I like Activision, and I would trust them with my Star Wars game. Why I don't trust DICE, because yes, it's just going to be massive maps and a lot of running around.
No, the maps scale in Battlefront. They
with
scale
how many
in size.
players you have?
Yep.
I did not know that. That is a
You know
great
that
feature.
that guy brings up that person brings up a good point, where it's like, would you guys rather have like an all-inclusive, great for everyone, like shooter, or like a game experience, or would you rather have like the different genres? Because he's like, let's take aspects from this game, and make the perfect MMO shooter, whatever, together. Would you rather that, or would you rather have like 3 different games that have different gameplay styles?
I like
that
games
you
with different
can pick and
gameplay
choose.
styles, to be honest. Because, I mean, Halo was unique from Call of Duty in that in Halo, you were this super soldier with, this small country budget costing armor that could, sponge up bullets and lasers.
As in,
Whereas
you could
Call of
you could
Duty-
feed a small country for years. With
Yes,
how much these
with
cost.
the cost of the Mjolnir armor. If you've read the books, you realize that it's some crazy stuff. But no, and then Call of Duty was semi more realistic. I mean, there's no way people are taking a full clip from an AK-47 and still walking, no matter how much adrenaline you have. Sorry
Yeah.
to break that to you, but like things like their swap mode where it was like 2 shots and a kill or something. That I thought that was cool, and that's the mode I always enjoyed playing because it made single shot weapons better.
That and if you were to take the other side of that statement, the antithesis is World of Warcraft as an MMO. It's like 10 games in one. Like there are so many different play styles, from PvP, casual raiding, hardcore raiding, progression raiding, battle pets, questing, achievement hunting, mount hunting, just exploring. There's so many different ways to play that game, and it's so
Unfortunately,
extensive.
only 2 of those are endgame right now.
Yes, yeah. So only a few of them are in game.
That's
So
an
do you
issue.
want that super like concentrated experience, or would you rather have all these different games that fit your playstyle? Because a Counter-Strike Global Offensive player is not going to enjoy the same things that a Halo player, a competitive Halo player, is going to do. Those are 2 very different gameplay styles. So to kind of
I
say
thought
like
they both involved no scopes.
they do, and they both involve all OP snipers and camping. Like you do have those. I mean, yes, it's a first-person shooter. That's correct. That's the statement you just made.
Right.
And
What'd you do at camp today, Billy? Well, I shot some people down.
I no scope some.
There you
I won't
go.
say that, but because I'm not 13 and on Xbox Live. But
Yeah,
So
yeah.
let's move into Overwatch real quick. We're big Blizzard fanboys. None of us are really big shooter players. We played our Borderlands 2. That was a blast. That's always a good time. Really, Irv? You didn't? I thought you played Borderlands. Wow. All right. So Irv's
we need
going
to
to
get
be
you
leaving
into
us now.
some Borderlands. We need to
I've-
get
done.
I've played like the original Call of Duty when you were shooting Nazis in a Russian tractor factory.
Yeah.
That's when my father taught me how to swear, because cursing at Nazis was okay in a Jewish family.
There you go.
I think in an American family, it's okay.
I'd argue in anywhere that wasn't 1938 Germany, that's okay. But
There you go.
but
So
that's what
Overwatch.
that was.
Moving on to Overwatch. No Nazis in Overwatch.
No, there's not. There might be some people that are kind of Nazi-ish, which maybe I'll be okay with that. Maybe I'll shoot them.
There was definitely
good.
a lot of hype going on Overwatch, and while we don't have a whole lot of experience with first-person shooters, we do have a lot of experience with Blizzard games. So this is more class-based, ability-based. Do you think this is going to bring in a lot of the Call of Duty, the Counter-Strike crowd? Are they going to switch over to Overwatch?
No, it's not the Call of Duty crowd that this game really attracts. It's honestly, I totally agree with the statement that it looks like TF2. A lot of its maps function very similar to TF2. It even has a similar art style to an extent.
Yeah, yeah.
It's going to be like TF2. It's that team-based shooter that's kind of silly, kind of map orientation based. It's not, deathmatch. It's not.
There are some interesting objectives, like
oddly mobile, though, because there are ultimates for these, heroes. Like you see the Hanzo guy with his bow, and then he just shoots this friggin' dragon across the map.
Yeah, which is fantastic.
For those who are unclear, when we say TF2, we mean Team Fortress 2.
Yeah,
one of the more popular games on Steam.
Right.
So there definitely is a market for that style of shooter. There's no doubt.
So basically, what Overwatch does is rather than being like a class-based shooter, where like in Team Fortress 2 they have like your
engineer,
I don't even know what they are.
heavy,
the engineer,
scout. Their engineer, the medic, the marksman. It's more of a hero-based shooter.
They have individual characters.
Well, I would argue that it's still kind of the same thing.
Well, it is. I'm not saying it is, but it's there's so many more different characters and different ability sets in Overwatch.
Yeah.
So that makes it more of a MOBA type play style.
I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see how it pans out.
I just kind of see it as if Team Fortress 2 had, 20 classes.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see, and I'm definitely going to try it. I'm not going to pay for it. I'm pretty sure it's free to play.
That's what I want to talk about. They have not announced the business model for Overwatch. That's
yeah, they haven't.
It's kind of set up to be a free to play. But the fact that they're hesitant to announce that it's going to be free to play, that kind of makes me think it might be.
I don't think they're hesitant. I just think that I don't know. I mean, everyone. They don't. I wouldn't say hesitant. Hesitant implies that they're afraid of what would come if they said what it is.
They certainly haven't decided.
I did some research today about this, and I saw a couple of interviews where they were going through and they were talking about the business model. And in all the interviews that I saw for the devs, they were all just like, we don't know what we want to do for the business model quite yet. We don't know if we want to make it like a pay-to-play game. We don't want to release it yet because we don't want to overpromise or do something that would upset you. We want to think about this more, kind of a thing. Very, very Blizzardy, where they're just like, we don't want to really.
That's always been their thing, like for years, and recently I'd say Warlords of Draenor has kind of soured this, and maybe some of the reaction with Diablo 3. They've always released products that are generally really high quality when they come out. So I'd say with their recent experiences, they're very hesitant to make any sort of promises, which I would be too. I wouldn't want to put any sort of ducks in the oven,
especially with how aggressive and I'll say passionate gamers are about these games. If you say like, hey, we're putting flying in Draenor day one, and then it just doesn't happen for whatever reason, you will never live that down.
Well, how many things did the devs so-called promise whenever they went in we were going into Warlords of Draenor, where they're like, you can rename your followers, you can do this with your followers, you can do this and this, and everyone's like,
boats.
Yeah, like everyone's like, where is this? Did you promise me this? You promised me this, and they're all just like, no. We said this would be a cool feature.
I'd say a lot of those things weren't promised, and I do remember on the PTR it was asked. They were just like, "Hey, why isn't Karabor ready yet?" Karabor was going to be the Alliance capital. Bladespire was done, which was the Horde capital. Horde and Alliance are the two factions. And Karabor was never done. They were like, we just don't have the time and to do Karabor. It's not really worth it. It's not like that's what they said. And then there are plenty of theories about why they actually didn't do capital cities separate from the hubs in the world PvP zone.
I was so disappointed with the capital cities in Draenor.
I was too. They're tent cities, and it is disappointing, but c'est la vie. It happens.
But really, your capital city in Warlords of Draenor is your garrison.
Yeah, exactly. That's correct.
But anyway, moving back to Overwatch and business model, what I think that they're going to end up doing is I think they're going to do something very similar to what Heroes of the Storm does, where they have a free hero rotation. Maybe they don't do like 7. Maybe they do like 2 or 3 heroes a week, and then you can buy individual heroes. That's kind of where I think that they're going to go for it.
You know, I think I agree with you, except I don't think that they're going to charge for the character classes. I think that it's going to be skin based. It's going to be like announcer voices, things like that, like all cosmetic. I think they're going to open up all the heroes.
So
and I'm basing
similar
that
to what Dota 2 does.
Yes,
where
Dota 2 and
available
Team
to you
Fortress.
and everything that's being sold is cosmetic.
Well, their competition in this market. I mean, Blizzard is new to this genre, so their competition is Valve. So if they were to go against that and say, okay, we're going to charge you for heroes, like, yeah, you get that free rotation, that's standard for a MOBA, but in Team Fortress 2 and those style of shooters, you can pick whatever class you want at any time. So to go against that would definitely be going uphill for their business model.
Yeah, I don't think it would be a very successful style to charge for that sort of thing. And
well,
honestly,
the thing that they could do is they could give everyone 2 or 3 heroes at the beginning.
But I don't
and
think
then...
you can have 2 of the same heroes on a team.
You can have 6 of the same one. You can have 6 tracers.
Really?
Yes, you can have 12
That's
tracers.
gross.
There's no limit. And that would make and you can change, like, if you die, like, man, I'm not really good with this tank, I'm going to switch over to this dwarf and try that out, then you can do that mid-game. Yes.
Okay,
it's exactly like Team Fortress.
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so...
I think I have heard of that. So, yeah, that would make sense.
And
but
then...
at the same time, though, that would make it very confusing for like newer players or something to be like, oh, hey, I can choose between these 27 characters. Yep. How can I do that? Whereas I think that the merit of what I was mentioning before with the you get 2 or 3 and you buy the heroes, you can be like, okay, I'm familiar with these characters, I own these, I have a pool of 10 that I can choose from.
I would say that they could accomplish that without charging or putting like barriers on that. You could do that by player level. So like in Heroes of the Storm or League of Legends, where you've got to play a certain amount of games, and then as you level up and like, hey, this guy's getting more experience, we've set him up with some easy guys at first, and now he has access to all the characters.
That's a problem, because then you have the issue of higher level players are going to have stronger champions, and then if they don't have a stronger champion, certain people bitch. If they have a stronger champion, other people bitch. That's a bad model, because it sets up for toxicity in the community.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be successful. I think copying essentially what TF2 does for theirs is the way to go, because TF2 is the only game like TF2 out right now, in my opinion.
Well, the makers of Borderlands are coming out with what's that freaking
yes,
game
they
called?
are coming out with one.
Yeah, but it's not out yet.
So their only competition as of right now is Team Fortress 2. But the thing with Team Fortress 2 is there's only 4 or 5 different classes you could choose from.
Yeah,
and how many heroes on Overwatch do we have?
They all have like what they can get different weapons. Like there are 3 different weapon options for I think each slot in TF2, and it's confusing because.
But there's hats, which is very important.
Okay, there are hats too.
Yes.
Which is another thing, but like. There's like this special machete you can get, and then there's like a sniper rifle,
which is cool, and it's completely it's not completely cosmetic.
Not completely cosmetic.
There are actually stats to these things. So that is one thing that kind of kept me from playing Team Fortress 2, because I enjoyed that style of gameplay. I played several Team Fortress 2 games, and I started realizing very quickly I kind of got to get some gear for this game, but it's not super easy to get without paying some money. You know,
Can you buy the gear? I have no idea. I've like played a little bit.
You buy these loot crates, which have a chance for gear, which you can then like trade within people on Steam or that face, that exact face.
Exactly.
Okay, I have spent I will log on Guild Wars 2. I will get on Star Wars: The Old Republic just to look at what new cosmetic and armor items are on the market, because I enjoy buying cosmetic skins. I will absolutely put money towards that.
As the people I played Star Wars: The Old Republic with were just like, half the reason I play this game is to play Barbie dress up.
Yes, it's
like, it's
definitely
you play that game because you care about what your character looks like.
Yes.
That's part of the RPG element for sure.
I absolutely love that. However,
Speaking
I do
of
not
Guild
like
Wars.
the random. We'll get to Guild Wars, yes, Ken. But I want to say this real quick. I do not like the random boxes. I don't like the box like, hey, it's only $5, but you might get this epic mount. It might be awesome, but most likely you're going to get crafting materials and maybe like something meh, and that you have to buy a whole bunch of boxes. No, just sell me the epic mount for $20. I'll buy the epic mount for $20. I hate boxes.
Yeah, you will, and
They
then
do
you'll
a
buy
very
someone
similar
else the
thing.
epic mount to get them to play.
Yes.
They do a very similar thing in Counter-Strike Go. I mean, you can buy lock boxes, and I think, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yes, that is
Buy,
correct.
Lock boxes with random chances. It's all about like gambling and stuff. You buy stuff and you can get cool stuff.
Both
And
Day
unfortunately,
C and
gambling
H1Z1
works, which is
have
why
those.
that's around. Which is a shame.
It's the same concept of gambling.
Yeah. So, Guild Wars 2. We actually did get a pretty
Yes.
exciting announcement. Maybe exciting. We got a very announcement for sure.
It's interesting.
Yeah, interesting,
It's
unique,
Free to play.
clever. Yes. They are moving on. Now, first off, I'm going to start by saying the old Guild Wars 2 business model was you pay anywhere from $30, $40, depending on if the game's on sale, and you have access to all the content of Guild Wars 2. That's it. You pay once, no subscription fee. There is an in-game market where you can buy cosmetic items. Very few pay-to-win items. There's some like experience boosts. Some people consider that pay-to-win. Gold boosts. That's arguable. But that was how they made their money, and Guild Wars 2 was very successful with that. However, they have now changed it so the base game, Guild Wars 2, is free. For anyone that wants it, can just install the game and can play it. But there were limitations, weren't there, Kent?
Yeah, there are some things that you can't do. Like you can't do your World v World until you're level 60. I don't know like what all of them are, but I know that's one of them. There's certain things that'll lock you, be locked behind the paywall. But the interesting thing is that they said was that if you want to play with your friends, once the new expansion comes out, Heart of Thorns, you only have to buy the expansion now, rather than having to buy the base game Guild Wars and then the expansion, which I think is a great move. I mean, because
That was a huge problem with World of Warcraft.
Oh, that was my biggest barrier to entry was for World of Warcraft. Is I'm like, wait, I have to buy 4 games.
Yeah.
I mean,
So, question:
yes.
what do you get if you had bought the game originally? Like
That was
was
my
in the
first
beta
question.
for
That was
game,
literally my first
and
question.
I played and I bought
Okay.
the game, unfortunately, because I never played it really, and I think it sucks. But what do you get?
That's a valid opinion. It's very different from World of Warcraft or even
I
Star
just
Wars.
disagree with its model, and then I just lots of things I didn't.
They didn't even have raids. They are just now getting raids with this expansion as well. The in-game
That's
content was
disappointing.
almost exclusively PvP, or like 5 or 6 man. I forget how big the dungeons are.
Yeah, they
A
were
few of
small.
those. Yeah.
That game and Final Fantasy 14 blend together for me. So
Oh gosh, I
They're-
love that game. I love 14.
what is wrong
Final
with
Fantasy 14.
Okay,
If I just
let's
got to stay
see,
home all day and play video games, I would play Final Fantasy 14.
I
That is
disown
what I
you
have to
as a
say about
brother.
that game. Because I do not have enough time to learn an intricate MMO like that.
Yeah, so you can't. I know you also can't go to the capital city before a certain level as well if you don't buy the
Really?
game.
I guess
Yeah.
that's
I
for
thought it was like
spammers, so that makes sense.
Well, wasn't that true in the game anyway? Like you got
Well,
to the
it's-
capital city
I
once you hit
think
like
it's-
level 10 or something.
I think it was
Well-
more of like you got to get out of your starting zone, like the same as any other MMO.
Might be true.
Yeah, I never really saw a need to go to. No, you do get to a capital city pretty early in Guild Wars. I typically play
Yeah,
the
I think
Norn.
you can just go straight.
Um,
Yeah, I
to it.
played as a Norn, and then I played as the Sylvari. They're called
Yep.
Sylvari,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, the plant people. But I like my big burly girls, so I like the Norn. And you do get to the capital city pretty early. That's where you learn all the crafting.
I found it. Okay, so with the free account, you're locked to 2 character slots, whereas if you get the core account or the Heart of Thorns account, you get 5.
That's standard.
You only get 3 slots for bags. That's not just 3 items. You get 3 different bag slots.
Which is nice.
Is it?
For a free account, for a core account, you get 5.
Yep.
You don't get access to the new profession system unless you have the actual Heart of Thorns game.
New profession this time. I am interested in
Alright,
that.
get-
They're called Revenant professions. I don't know what they are.
It's
You don't get the Heart of Thorns map
illustrious
content.
Grandmaster.
You get the Central Tyria. You get starter maps only until you reach character level 10. And Lion's Arch is unlocked for each character at level 35 on a free account. Otherwise, if you buy the game, then you can go whenever to
Yeah.
Lion's Arch.
Lion's Arch is the capital. I do remember that name. I was gonna say Lion's Den, but that's a porn store.
You can only send.
Don't confuse the two.
No, yes, that. Do not
You only send
Google.
mail to friends.
Oh, gosh.
You don't get your guild bank access with a free account. You don't get map chat or squad chat until you get to 30 on a free account.
And that's always the
That
tricky part
sucks.
about free to play games is you get all these bots, scammers, spammers, gold salesmen. I mean, you get enough of that in the pay games, like.
Why, hello there. Would you be interested in buying gold for 10 USDA
Yeah.
amount?
Every time.
We promise we won't give you a virus. Yes, we'll kind of give you a virus.
Yes, we'll kind of give you a virus. Your computer will now be
It
farming
won't be
bitcoins
herpes.
for us.
Just gonorrhea. That's treatable.
Just gonorrhea, yes.
Is that it? Yes. And here's our card for a good pharmacist. That's it. Yeah. So free to play accounts. Those seem like very reasonable limitations on a free to play account. And so it still kind of sounds like you buy the game to play the normal game. Like
Yeah, that was their whole thing because there was an interview with one of the lead developers on it, and he's like, Guild Wars is about tearing down boundaries. And first of all, whenever we first made it, it was about tearing down the boundary of having to pay a subscription. And now
we're
there's
so
all these.
unique and innovative with our.
I know,
awful
right?
game.
I know. And they're like, oh, we need to. Obviously, he's biased because he makes the game.
yeah.
But now he's like, we want to just throw all the established stuff out of the thing and bring in this new system where it's free
All right,
to
so
play.
they're throwing out the kitchen sink and getting a new one with
Pretty much.
alabaster plating. Looks good.
No, they were essentially like, Tom Shelton, tear down that wall. That's what.
So in a nutshell, you can try out Guild Wars 2 if you like, but if you want to get the full experience, you still have to buy Heart of Thorns.
So to talk about a little bit about Guild Wars 2 gameplay, pretty standard MMO. Well, okay, actually not. So you get your character, you pick your typical mage, warrior, rogue, ranger. There's an illusionist. There's a few tanking classes and a few support style classes, but it is not traditional. Where in Neverwinter, World of Warcraft, every other MMO, you've got to have the Holy Trinity: tank, healer, 2D or 3 DPS.
Well, there's still a holy trinity in Guild Wars, from what I recall.
To a degree,
there definitely is.
but in this game, you could get away with having no tank, but you have 2 supports who are very good at crowd control and maybe a little bit of healing. Or if you had like 2 tanks that were very good at like just keeping
I'd
everything
argue you
on
can
them.
do that in any game.
Well, in World of Warcraft, if you show up with 2 tanks and no healer in like a leveling dungeon, okay, a leveling dungeon that doesn't count. But like
I've soloed those Kyle.
yeah, I was
so
about
it's not
to say,
good.
okay, never mind, I take that back. But in this game, they try to make that the focus, where in like the whole game, you can play with whatever party composition you want. Kind of like how Star Wars wanted to do, but it never actually ended up happening. So
It did, actually. They're
your
tactical
the
fighters.
abilities
That's
that
how
you
their
have.
raids are going to work as well. They're going to try to keep that same philosophy in their raids.
Not gonna work.
In raids, yeah, I'm not optimistic.
But
on this one.
the raids
That's
are
gonna
only
break
10
down.
players as well, so I mean...
Well, the interesting
And they
thing
also-
about Guild Wars, though, I will say, so I play a mage, for example, and what abilities you have, what skills you have, depend
Depends
on
on
what
your
weapon.
weapon.
Yeah, completely depends on what weapon you have. So if you use a staff, you might have some like fireballs, or you might have some like single target high burst. But then when you switch to a wand, you'll have more AOE. Or when you
Yeah,
switch
you have to
to
level up each weapon individually.
They changed
to
that.
get your 4 skills.
they
Oh.
they got rid of
They
that. Yeah,
did.
yep. So now you
they-
put on the
they
weapon,
completely
you've got
fixed the
everything.
system.
hmm
So I'm old.
a little
But
bit.
like, yeah,
okay,
I remember doing that. I was a total weeb, and I had my Norn Ranger. I had my pet bear,
Mhm.
and then I was, I think for sneaking around and doing high damage, I was using a long sword and a short sword, and then I think for AOE, I used a long bow from a distance in PvP.
Yeah, it was
And
fantastic.
Just sit
I
like a
played,
jackass at the top of a tower and drop down volleys.
yes.
I played a necromancer, and it was very much like that. Like I had, I don't even know what it was. I think it was a 2-handed setup, or like a one-handed or whatever,
like an
one-handed setup.
axe and a
Right, and
offhand.
that was very
something.
single target. And then I had a staff that every spell was AOE, and it was pretty cool.
So there's lots of different ways to change up your build, even like if as you're like progressing through a dungeon or eventually a raid. Like, hey, this is a big AOE room. Let's all switch to our AOE weapons.
So here's another feature about their raids. I know we should move on, but one more thing about the raids is that they're saying that they don't want the raids to become easier with time, like in all the other MMOs, where it's like
that face.
They're like we don't want it to get any easier with gear or levels or anything. We want the rewards for raids to be purely cosmetic.
Not purely. I know. Irv, you're just dying of laughter as a progression
like, whatever,
hardcore.
Irv is a hardcore mythic raider.
Full of shit. I'm sorry. Like, oh yeah, we don't want something that takes understanding a fight to get easier with time because practice shouldn't matter.
No. They said they don't want it to get easier with gear or expansions.
Well, no, they just directly quoting Kent there. He said with time, and part of time is learning the fight. Like, there's this massive barrier, and it's even just psychologically. It's not even gear based. With when you're just doing a fight for the first time before you've killed it, it seems so much harder, and then you can go back the next day and kill it again, and it's like that. It's easier once you get it and you understand it. So
that's what they're aiming for. Best case scenario is you go in there, you struggle, you figure it out, and that's the only barrier. That's the only thing keeping from something getting on farm. The rewards that they're going to be giving are cosmetic, and they are going to be giving abilities. So you know how you can choose some of your talents or abilities? They will be giving you some raid completion specific abilities to your different classes as you beat the raid. But other than that, you're never going to outgear or outlevel these raids. That's their goal. That's what they've said. Obviously, or if you don't think it's going to happen, Kent, what do you think?
I mean, I think that they're going to fall flat on their face. I think they're going to succeed in that, but I think that the player base is going to make I think that's going to make raids very, very unpopular in Guild Wars because the only reason that you raid and that you keep going is because it gets easier and you're farming for the best gear and you're trying to be the most powerful character. But I mean, if you take that out, then it's always the same difficulty every time. I mean, what's the point of farming the raid other
there's
than
not going to be
I did it once.
Aside from getting your cosmetic reward, and people will do things for cosmetic rewards. That's no lie. There are plenty of things I will do if you pay me for cosmetic rewards.
Right, but if you get your reward and then you're done with it, I mean,
then you go to World versus
no
World,
point.
and that's all there is.
Right, there's no point going back. I think they're going to fall flat on their face with that. I think that's
so basically what we're saying is it sounds like a weak in-game.
Yes.
Yeah, there's very little incentive to do repetition in it, and then there's little incentive to move past. Like, if it's going to stay with you the entire time, what's the point in making a new raid? Why would people go do something they're going to struggle at and fail for, which, I mean, people will do. There's a small group that will. I'm part of that group. But why would you do something you're going to struggle at and fail for hours on end when you could do something that you understand and know and will be able to do relatively quickly?
Yeah, that's progression style. So Guild Wars have never had a strong end game, but that hasn't stopped it from being fun. I've had more fun leveling in Guild Wars 2 than any other MMO. The PvP is fantastic if you enjoy that style. So it's not overly surprising that this is kind of a shortcoming in this upcoming expansion.
Well, I mean, I'd definitely say it's fun in the same way that Grindhouse horror flicks are fun. It's just that, maybe this is a terrible way to say it, but I think it's that
quote somewhere.
It's that cheap, easy entertainment. It's not overly complex. It's not like I have this extreme heavy button rotation. It's like, oh hey, I have my 4 abilities. I'm gonna Call of Duty it. Sit here and drop my volleys on these bitches.
Yep, over and over again. So that's min-maxing has always been both a two-edged sword to MMOs. On the one hand, it helps us find balance, and on the other hand, it removes a little bit of the mystery and the fun in games, which some people don't like. More than fair to you.
Well, it's a mystery when you're trying to figure out the min-max, and it has some interesting results.
Yes, it does. Yes. We're going to go ahead and get rid of the Sword Mage build. That's the thing that needs to not happen. Back in vanilla. Good times. No,
yep.
No one.
Hey, we think that melee hunters don't fit with the fantasy. Hi, welcome to Legion, where survival hunters will be using a spear.
Right.
Oh, what was
Oh my
it?
gosh. I'm excited
Another.
about that though. I'm excited to try that out.
I am too. I'm gonna play a survival hunter because I prefer melee. Just
Right.
let's go. Let's do a reel of things Blizzard has went back on. Um, there will be no flying in Draenor.
Yep.
Well, actually, we will patch in flying in Draenor. There was a paladin ability that gave you the image of having the Ashbringer in your hands, and they said, at least reportedly, I didn't see this post, but we removed that animation because it didn't feel right to give everyone an Ashbringer.
If you can find the quote,
my
I will post that in the video comments.
Oh, that's so hilarious.
It's like, well, hi, welcome to Legion. Paladins, you will be traveling to the Broken Shore to pick up the
The
Ashbringer,
Ashbringer from the
Fel.
cold dead hands of Tyrion Forgering.
Speaking of Legion, real quick, I've thought of something.
All right, take us out with this, Kent.
We're not. No, we still need to talk about Deus Ex.
Oh right. Oh gosh.
We need to talk about that crap. But anyway, I wrote it down because I may have forgotten it a little bit. But essentially, oh no, I remembered it. So the thing is, I thought I kind of compared this expansion to the Lich King kind of expansion, where we're bringing back like an old lore character. I'm talking about Illidan. We're bringing back Illidan,
Yep.
and I don't know what the response was at the time about that. With them bringing Arthas into the World of Warcraft, I mean, I don't know if people were like super stoked about it, or if they were just kind of like, I don't know if bringing Arthas would be into it, but like, I don't know, where Wrath became like one of the most popular expansions, if not the most popular expansion ever. So I'm wondering if that will happen with Legion. We're bringing back Illidan. We're bringing this iconic character back, and maybe we're gonna do some awesome stuff with him. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
Is
theory?
Legion going to match or surpass Wrath as the most popular World of Warcraft expansion?
Well, I'm not saying like most popular number wise. I'm saying like the expansion that everyone looks back on.
Most favored.
Oh, right, most favored. That's what I mean.
Or like a fame expansion.
I mean,
Alright, so
do you feel like kind of
Illidan-
leaning that way? Because that's kind of the similarities that I see.
There are two issues here. Illidan's story has been notoriously bungled multiple times by Blizz. They've had a very hard time, I feel, dealing with his character, and I love his character. I think he's awesome. But they've definitely had some struggles with it, just from a writing standpoint, and I mean, I guess it's understandable. They should hire me, please. But they definitely have a lot riding on that. They have to get his character right to make it as good as Arthas, and then they also have the community to battle against, in a sense. They have to sort of win back the favor.
Yeah, it's uphill from here.
It's a bit of an uphill struggle.
One of the things that I've been listening to a lot of lore stuff because I really want to get caught up on it. And a lot of things that a lot of people are saying about Illidan is that he is kind of like that guy that he wants things to work out. He's trying his best to make things right, make things be perfect, but he just like falls flat on his face. Or like he makes the wrong decision, but he thinks he's doing the right thing, kind of a thing, almost like an anti-hero kind of an approach.
Well, honestly, his stance has always been, I will do what needs to be done to help. Like, he consumed this demonic power, sacrificing his soul. Well, help, interesting term, what needs to be done to, save everyone, because, well, he's saved the world a few times, thanks, Illidan.
He also took away the Night Elf's immortality.
No, he didn't.
I thought...
No, he didn't. He gave it back to them, actually, for a little bit.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Kind of.
Anyway, moving on. Irv, continue, please.
No, Illidan, he's this character, and he's an anti-hero in that he does some nasty things on occasion, becoming a demon, working with demons, and he's trying to do it for the good of the world. Like, he tried to end the whole Lich King thing, and then his brother threw a hissy fit.
Yeah, he did make a valid effort.
So my question is can a character like that become as iconic as Arthas in an expansion? Probably not, but I mean,
well, he's already
iconic. Yes,
that Blizzard
he's already as big as Arthas.
Can bringing back Illidan win this expansion in the eyes of World of Warcraft players and MMO players? That is not enough. Even if
Bastards.
they present Illidan and Gul'dan and all these characters in the best display of lore and story and that we have ever seen in gaming, that will not be enough to redeem World of Warcraft.
I mean,
So
no, it just has to be
what
done
would be-
well. The gameplay has to be good.
Mhm.
They'll have to have a relatively controversy-free launch for sure, and
Yep.
then the
The
story
launch is
needs to
huge.
be seen. I mean, launch needs to go as good as it possibly can, and I'm not talking perfect because that's unrealistic. I'm
Yeah.
talking not WAD launch, not BC
Not WAD,
launch.
no. No. Oh,
Wrath
gosh.
launch.
So
I'm pretty
what
sure was decent.
what kind of things did Wrath do that they haven't done since that made that expansion iconic? Is kind of that's one question that I have.
Well,
If you guys don't know that's fine. I'm
well,
just
no,
curious.
I have some opinions on this, and I did not play heavily during BC. That's when I started playing at the end of BC, and I was leveling up for the majority of that time because everyone's a scrub when they start playing this game.
Yeah.
Everyone. Uh,
Yeah.
And I was leveling up, but I definitely know in Wrath there were dungeons that were relevant the entire time, which was the case in BC, but that was because of attunements. In Wrath, it was this badge system that served as a catch-up mechanic, which were originally introduced at the end of BC in the Isle of Keldanis. It was kind of the middle, like this golden age or like these prime of life of all these features that eventually went on and then started to get stale, and people started to be like, oh, this used to be harder, when it was really just the natural evolution of a method of doing things that progressed as it should. But it lost favor, so, you know, like, and then they tried to make dungeons relevant by making them hard in kata, and people complained that kata dungeons were too hard for some reason. Mop, they made them too easy, and then they stopped making more dungeon content because it was so easy and it got burned through, even if it was relevant for badges.
Yep.
Like Wrath, just, it was a good time because it was the perfect storm moment for a lot of features. So Legion, they kind of have to hope that a lot of the things that they introduced in WoD that maybe weren't noticed but were successful, like just the graphic quality of the game is a lot higher. There's, you know, the way abilities work, classes are doing fairly well balance wise. Yes, there are a few that are terrible. Don't play a shaman unless you're resto. But it's really like they just have to hope that they get the right pieces falling in the age of certain like features.
Yep.
And
if,
I think
if
that
they
it can
have
do
a
that.
good analysis of what the state of MMOs are at and what
They need to not care about other MMOs. I just keep doing the WoW thing. Like, screw Heavensward, screw Guild Wars, screw Star Wars: The Old Republic. It doesn't matter what they do. You need to make your game in the way that it is and make it uniquely Warcraft. That is the goal that they need to have. They need to not, you know, care about competitors, and I don't think they actually do care about competitors that much. I think that's very much a community.
Yeah. They care about their
opinion.
community. Yeah. More than
More
than people.
Anyway,
it's just,
that answers my question. That's very good. We
Absolutely.
should probably move
Yep.
on.
So moving on, before we head out, I want to talk about
Alright.
Deus Ex.
yeah.
Deus Ex.
Deus Ex.
Yeah.
What I put in the in the descriptor in the show notes was the Deus Ex pre-order bullshit, because that's what it is.
Yeah, that's pretty true. It is, I think, a disgusting cash grab feature that essentially it rewards anti consumer philosophies and it's really just trying to make lemmings out of the people who they want playing their game.
So
And
that's
very
an interesting.
disrespectful.
So on the one hand, yes, you want to grab your game day. Well, okay, some people like to grab their game day
First of all,
one.
but before we launch into discussion, I want to quickly just describe what it is so people know
Describe
what
what
it
it
is.
is, yeah.
So what it's doing is it's saying we have a pre-order. The pre-order went live yesterday, and which is the 31st of August for those that are listening to the VOD or whatever. But they're saying we're going to have tiered unlocks. The first tier unlocks automatically, and you can choose between 3 rewards, and you can pick and choose whatever you want until release, and then you're locked in. And based on how many people pre-order, we will unlock each tier to get you more orders. And there's 5 tiers, and the 5th tier reward is that everyone that pre-ordered gets to play the game 4 days before actual release. And they did not give us any information about what their milestones are for, like, what numbers
How
they
many?
need to have.
Yeah.
yeah, to unlock each tier.
That's great. I think it might actually be worse if they had given the milestones a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah,
Uh,
I agree.
I really don't know. I just think it's such a shitty situation all around that it's disgusting. But you glossed over a really important point in the rewards. The tier 3 reward is a special bonus mission, quote unquote, a special bonus mission.
Oh,
which
I didn't even
in this,
see that.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
that's,
yeah.
That's
That's
the reason
big.
I'm mad.
That's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nothing to sniff at. No, and there's a reason that this, you know, it's a bonus mission. No, it's not. You made it before the game was released.
And you
That
chose
means you
to
have
hold it
taken
back.
from the game, and you have ripped it for the specific purpose of a mission to be given to people if enough people fall into your scheme. That's
They are locking
disgusting.
story content behind a paywall, which is awful.
Yeah,
No, more than a paywall. Okay, well, it is a paywall in the sense that you get all the rewards regardless of how many people pre-order if you buy the collector's edition. No, if you buy the collector's edition.
Oh, the collector's. Okay.
Yeah, there's none of this unlocked tiered business if you get collector's edition. It's just
Really?
all there. Yeah.
There
And
is a
of course-
collector's edition. That's surprising.
Well, now I'm a big fan of collector's editions because I like figures. I've got my Jim Raynor dog tag that I've got from StarCraft 2, Wings of Liberty. I got the collector's edition on that. So I like those that kind of stuff that comes with it. But when I pre-ordered Deus Ex. Now I have to hope that enough people also pre-order this game because I can't afford the collector's edition because I don't want the collector's edition, whatever. I have to hope that enough other people get this so I can enjoy that content.
Did you actually pre-order this?
No, I don't play the Deus Ex games. But I am not a huge fan of pre-orders.
I disagree with you on that. I think you're a massive fan of pre-orders. But...
Well, okay, I'm a fan of early access, which is basically pre-orders, so yes. But with early access, I play it with the mindset of I get to test this game, I get to provide feedback, I get to find bugs.
So you
get to pray that it's
the
finished.
developer to be a beta tester.
Yes, I get to pay the developer to be a beta tester, and that is something I do not mind. Because otherwise I wouldn't have an opportunity like that.
That's your opinion.
Yes, it is my opinion. It's not a very popular one, and I acknowledge that.
I disagree with it entirely. I wouldn't
Yes.
have a single early access game unless you had bought them for me.
That's
which you
correct.
did.
I buy you early access games so you can play these games that are fun despite the fact that they're not entirely finished.
Yeah,
But-
I have 2 early access games. One, Kyle bought me because he wanted to make content, and 2, I bought myself because I wanted to make content with Kyle.
Yes.
So that tells you how much I've
got a bit of an influence on these guys. Now, that being said, when you're pre-ordering a game, you're really not even getting anything while you wait for the game to be finished. Now, admittedly, it's guaranteed to be finished because it's a AAA developer. Like, Rockstar's not just going to, not come out with a game.
It will
I
generally
think
be
we've learned
finished.
from-
There are cases of
Assassin's
things
Creed,
like
cough,
that.
cough.
Batman, Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
Arkham Knight, yeah.
Knight.
Still not available again on PC. They're saying I think early next year now.
It's available on PC. You can't buy it on Steam.
No,
Steam,
well,
it's
they,
not...
they pulled it from the Steam store. Did they? Is it still available?
if you go to like Green Man Gaming or G2A or some of those like sale sites, you can still get it.
Some of the gray market sites.
I
Yeah.
feel like they're gonna give my computer herpes.
I
No,
know.
they will not give you good herpes, but you might just be buying stolen CD keys. You don't know. They don't know.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
They don't
It's a-
know what
it's
they're
a
selling
grape.
you.
It's just gray, right?
It could be sugar.
not
It could be
illegal.
cocaine.
You
It
never
doesn't
know.
matter
Either
why
way, you're gonna have a
say
great
it.
night. It's so. Yeah,
This thing though with pre-orders, because I'll pre-order if I know that I'm going to enjoy the game. I've pre-ordered all kinds of Blizzard games. I pre-ordered Worlds of Draenor. I pre-ordered Legacy of the Void, but I know that I'm gonna get enjoyment out of those games regardless. But for like stuff like this, it's like, first of all, you're locking content behind the pre-order wall. Then so many developers do this nowadays, where they're just like, you pre-order, you get this. It's amazing. You get this cosmetic reward. You get this bonus mission, and I'm just like, I don't want to pre-order because I don't know
They
if I'm
don't
gonna...
do that for PC. PC Master Race.
no, they do though. That is.
They do?
Yeah,
See, yeah.
that is.
And
Okay,
it's
we
we
like-
don't do
claim
that for
that.
MMOs. MMO Master Race.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just this just makes my skin crawl though. Where it's like, you need to depend on other people, and they're encouraging you. If you go on the website, they're encouraging you to go on social media and to get your
Yep.
friends and to tell your friends.
Do our job for us.
They're
This game.
skimping on their fucking advertising to get you to do it for them,
Yeah.
so that you can give the
That's
illusion
what
of getting
annoys
rewards.
me.
When you're not getting rewards, you're choosing what rewards you don't get. All right,
And
there
they're
are
gonna get
like
millions
there are
of
multiple
dollars.
options per tier. I'm gonna rant about this for Ken. I'm sorry.
No, that's
But
fine.
please,
there are
please.
multiple options per fucking tier of this. So it's like, oh hey, I get to pick one. So what are the 3 I didn't get?
Exactly.
All right. Did
That's
I not
just-
get this cool ass trench coat and a revolver? Well, I did, but that means I didn't get the silenced pistol and extra ammo. And that's kind of weird. Like, why is there gameplay affecting stuff in these pre-order options? And then there's going to be the optimal pre-order option for the people that want to speed run the game.
Yeah.
And then if you didn't order those things, well, shit, you're out of luck, mate.
Yeah.
I
you
know.
know,
I mean,
like,
and that
It's disgusting.
that's what gets me. It's like, oh, years after the fact, or maybe like a month after the fact, I'm like, oh, hey, this game looks cool. I've seen it on Twitch. I've seen it, I've seen it on YouTube. Maybe I want to pick it up. Oh, wait, I can't get a chunk of the content on this game because I didn't freaking pre-order the.
To be fair, it's probably not a chunk more than a slice, but
Yeah,
Well,
no, it's a mission
biggest-
right now, but
The
It's the
biggest
principle.
thing or the biggest example about this, and I don't know of any that are doing it right now, but was Mass Effect 3, where they locked the Prothean race behind the pre-order
oh,
paywall,
Wow.
which is
wow.
And
if
they
you
never
play Mass Effect,
unlocked it
that
later.
is-
That's an
No, they
interesting
never
dick
did.
to get shoved
so
in my ass.
so if you didn't pre-order the game, you don't get access to a very, very lore-centric character in that
In
game.
a game that's all about it's BioWare. Like
it's all
Right.
story based. So
Right.
okay,
So
that's cool.
That is the like ultimate example of it. But like still, it's like, well, maybe I want to go play this awesome mission. Maybe I saw the bonus mission on a YouTube channel. I'm just like, oh, that looks so much fun. Oh wait, I can't
Yeah.
play it because
Well,
I didn't
it's
pre-order.
like, let's think of bonus missions. It's like doing Call of Duty, one of the Call of Duties, I forget which one, without the cool like Air Force One plane mission. Like,
yeah.
no, it's like it's a little thing that isn't that big in the grand scheme of things, but it's cool and it's enjoyable, and you shouldn't cut paying customers out of the content of your game. It's ridiculous.
It
I ordered
really-
a cheeseburger. I didn't expect to pay extra for the cheese.
So like I could see like Borderlands when I think with the pre-order they gave you like really cool like golden gun skins for the first that lasted you like 3 minutes, 5 minutes into gameplay. Like stuff like that, or even like hey, you can get this special skin. I'm okay with that. But it blows my mind that developers would spend time and resources on actual content that no one's ever going to see. Like it just blows my mind.
Yeah, can I get a raid for pre-ordering?
Yeah, right? Like exactly.
Well, and it's like you order fast food, like, oh, if you pay in advance, we'll give you fries and a drink. But if you don't, you just get the burger.
See, and
It's
I
like-
don't mind pre-ordering if it's like, hey, I'm going to buy this game. I've got the money now. I might not have the money when it comes out. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
do
great reason
pre-orders
to pre-order.
just for games I know I'm gonna play.
Mhm.
Like, in every game I have pre-ordered, Skyrim,
Mhm.
and the various WoW expansions, and then I pre-ordered a few MMOs I quit playing because they ended up being pretty awful. But like no, it's a game I'm going to try out and I'm going to play, and generally I do enjoy them. But yeah, that's the only time to pre-order a game is when like you're going to play it.
Yeah.
And I made the philosophy a while ago because I heard about these things, but like I will only ever pre-order Blizzard games because I trust Blizzard to have maybe not the smoothest launch, but after the launch I'll enjoy them. I mean,
Yeah.
Blizzard's been very spotty on their launches, and so maybe I won't play on the
But
launch.
very
day.
consistent in the long run.
Right. So I mean, I pre-ordered Worlds of Draenor. The launch sucked. It was the worst launch ever.
It was bad.
Um,
It was bad.
And but now I'm still playing Warlords of Draenor. I'm still enjoying that content. I don't know. I have no regrets. I pre-ordered Heart of the Swarm. I didn't play that on launch. I'm still playing Heart of the Swarm.
Yeah. Fun campaign. If anyone hasn't played StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm,
Oh, it's
great
amazing.
story.
I loved
I
it.
still haven't finished Wings of Liberty campaign. I
Also a
need
great
to.
story.
Yeah, also great.
So
And I think I even pre-ordered. No, I didn't pre-order Wings of Liberty. I got into that later. But anyway,
yes. So well, that's the news we have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the show. We sure did. Check us out, Twitch TV /JCal37 or Filthy Casual PG. All these podcasts will end up on YouTube one way or another.
Yep, Progression
I-
Gamers channel on YouTube. Go to it. Do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like, comment, subscribe.
speaking of-
Tell me I'm pretty.
You're pretty.
Speaking of-
Or that
my
I'm ugly.
Twitch,
I don't know.
I do
tell me
have-
what you want to tell me.
I do have a quick announcement about my Twitch page. I did have a schedule where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go like every day if I can, but I decided I'm going to focus more on my YouTube content because the schedule's not happening.
Yeah,
So
scheduling is hard.
my new Twitch schedule is whenever I feel like it, and I will tweet it out on my Twitter.
Yes, and you're
So,
just at Filthy Casual PG on Twitter.
at Filthy Casual PG. If you want to see more of my content, I'm going to focus more on the YouTube side, and that's at progression or youtube.com/progression gamers. That'll get you there. But that is my big announcement that I put at the bottom of the show notes because
Brilliant.
yes.
Alrighty. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. I hope you have a good night, have a good evening, have a good morning, whatever time of
Octodad.
day
My
it
Octodad
is.
video's out. Go watch Octodad. It is hilarious.
Watch Octodad and don't pre-order Deus Ex.
Don't
No,
pre-order.
Do
Deus
not
Ex.
give them the satisfaction.
Unless you really
Like, we
want
met
to.
all of
but
our goals.
Please don't. I think that it's a disgusting model and it shouldn't be supported.
All
so
right,
much.
Irv. The show's over.
Final thoughts. Bye, everyone.